Hi, I'm Claire from Juice Digital and you're listening to 5-Minute Social Media Lesson. Today we're going to talk about something that trips a lot of beginners up and honestly a lot of people who have been at this a long time as well. Who should you actually be listening to when it comes to social media advice? Because if you've ever Googled how to grow on Instagram, you've got different answers all contradicting each other. And at least a handful of them are recycling advice from 5+ years ago that's not even relevant anymore. It's pretty exhausting, so let's work to cut through that. So part 1, go to the source. The most underrated move you can do is going directly to the platforms themselves. If you want to know how Instagram works, go to Instagram. Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, regularly posts updates on his stories and in his broadcast channels, answering everyday questions from people like you and I. He's been really clear about a few things. Hashtags not being relevant for reach anymore, consistency mattering more than volume when it comes to posting, and engagement being about relevance rather than tricks. That's not a guru with the course to sell. That's the person who runs the platform just telling you how it works. Meta has a business blog, TikTok has a newsroom, LinkedIn publishes its own algorithm insights. These are free, they're direct, and they're almost always reliable over a third-party hot take. Make them your first stop. Part 2, be careful with growth hack content. Now let's talk about the other end of the spectrum, the growth hack crowd. You'll know the content when you see it. It's things like post between 6 and 7 p.m, use these 30 secret hashtags, do this one thing and your reach will triple. And look, I totally get why it's appealing. It sounds like a shortcut and most people want a shortcut. But the reality is that platforms update. What worked in 2019 isn't working now. And most of that hack style content is already or gets outdated very quickly. A lot of the times it's also people just reposting that information without actually testing that hack themselves. A really practical way to filter it, if someone's content is primarily built around hacks, tricks, then that's a pretty big red flag. Real, sustainable growth looks really boring from the outside, unfortunately. It's clear messaging, good content, consistency, and a really solid understanding of your own audience. Part 3, watch what the platforms reward. Alongside just listening to the official sources, the biggest tip that I can give you is to observe. Start scrolling through Instagram and TikTok with a more strategic eye, and you'll start to notice what content is getting pushed to you more, what formats the platforms are actively promoting at the moment, and what new features are rolling out that they're nudging you to try. Platforms will tell you exactly what they care about through their own behavior. They're rewarding short form video, original content, strong retention, and consistency. What they're not rewarding is hashtag stuffing, follow for follow, or engagement pods. Those are so outdated, it's beyond a joke. If you run a cafe and you notice that every time you pop a reel up of your barista making the coffee, it actually outperforms the carousel of the coffees once they're made, that's the platform telling you exactly what it wants from you. It wants more of that BTS, it wants more video. Part 4, experience and insights. One more thing that I think is worth addressing is that over time, as you become more familiar with these platforms, you will have a more instinctual understanding of how to get the most out of them, who's just flogging another course or another outdated hack. One of the best tips that I can give as someone with over a decade of watching these platforms change is jump on the features that they want you to do, listen to what they're telling you is new and exciting, and stay on top of that information before you stay on top of the next new course or hack. As I mentioned in one of our earlier lessons, sometimes what's best for the platform isn't always best for you, but at least if you're listening to them about what they're rolling out, you'll understand what's happening and you can adjust your strategy accordingly. If you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like you're getting a lot of conflicting advice, that's not a you problem. There is a lot of noise out there. I know, because unfortunately I'm part of it. Be skeptical of hacks, watch what platforms are rewarding, and have a little intuition about you. This has been 5-Minute Social Media Lessons with Claire from Juice Digital.